السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مرحبا بكم أيها الطلاب الكرام. Today is a very exciting day because we'll be starting our first lesson in the Medina Arabic course. Now, if you don't know how to read, that's the book that you'll need. Okay, it's called معلم القراءة العربية, and you can pick it up at any bookstore, and I'd recommend that you go and pick this up at your local bookstore or you order it online so that you can follow along and study. Today will be lesson 1, and if you open up to page 5, you will see that it says الدرس الأول. Now, you should have your book in front of you, and you should have a notebook in front of you, and you should take notes and write as much as you can. Remember, you need to be practicing your speaking skills, your writing skills, your listening skills, and of course, one of the most important ones, your comprehension skills. What we'll be taking today is هذا. Now, you want to start from up here when you write هذا. And when you write in Arabic, don't just write the letter, draw the letter. This is very helpful for me. Once I figured out that I need to just draw the letter instead of I'm writing a letter, it was a lot easier. Next, the reason why they started with هذا in the Arabic language, or in this Arabic course, is so that when you're walking around and you're amongst Arabs, you wanted to ask, how do I say this and how do I say that? So, the word هذا means this is. And by the way, you have to know that there's not any one single word for is. Okay, there's not just one single word where this is how you say is. So even though this is هذا, it means this, you say, it's gone. You say قلم, pen. هذا قلم, which now means this is a pen. And we're going to take why did we say a just in a second. Just so you guys know, I have a list of stuff that we're going to take right over here. That's why I keep pointing to that side. And for those of you who have watched me teach this class before, you know, a lot of times we kind of just freestyle and we like the loose structure that we have. And the good thing though about this time is that the class will be tailored more towards the online viewer, whereas last time we had a class in front of us. So I'll be pausing a little bit more to give you guys time to write and even give you time to respond when I ask a question. هذا, this is. Now, a good way for you to learn is to know how to ask questions. So you want to say, what is this and what is that? Now, even though in the book they have it for the next lesson, let's start it now. And the word that you're going to take, you start the meme down and you say, ma. A lot of times it'll be translated as just what. Right? But if you pair it with something like ma hada, it now becomes, let me write the whole thing, ma hada. It becomes what is this? So you see again, this word is popping up. So does that mean that ma equals what is? Yeah, it could be. If you say have it by itself, does it mean this is? Yes, it could be. Don't base everything that you say in the English language, or maybe even in your own language, to immediately translate it to Arabic that way. You're going to make your life a lot easier if you just kind of come in and take it as is. Let's erase all this so that way we get all this cluster off the board. And now what we're going to do is we're going to actually start asking questions. Ma hada. You're walking around, you made a umrah, and you are with an Arab friend of yours. You point towards this, you point towards that. You say ma hada. And he says, hada masjid. You point again, ma hada. He says, hada funduq. This is a hotel. You go to a restaurant. Ma hada. هذا مطعم, he says. So guess what you need to start doing? You need to get a little vocab book and start memorizing your vocab. At about 5 lessons in, you're going to notice that you probably have 100 words. Are you ready for that? Now that your little vocab book, you won't be. So, get used to this kind of sentence structure about, this is how I learn. Ask questions. Keep trying. You open up to the book and you have a lot of pictures there. Now, I want you to, this will kind of be a little boring, but we got to read all of these. There's pictures there. You want to first be able to read them and know the vocab words. And then after that, you can kind of block them and then just point to it and remember the word. So, it says here at the very first one, هذا بيت. Now, you see the tanween at the end? We got to explain what that means. What does it mean when you end something? That's an ugly hat. Also, if you notice, there's not an exact way you got to write these has. See how it's open here? See how it's closed here? It's okay. You just draw it. Start at the top. If you managed to connect it, great. If you didn't connect it, you're still okay. And by the way, my penmanship has never been nice. But you just learn how to draw and move along. You should be okay, inshallah. Keep practicing with the writing. هذا بيت. What does this mean? When there is a ضمتين at the end of a word, or a فتحتين or a كسرتين. And these are all things that you should know by now when you come into the course. What is فتحتين, ضمتين, كسرتين? When you get a tanween at the end of the word, it means you are presenting it in a way that is indefinite. You're not identifying exactly which house. You're saying it's a house. And that's what happens when you have tanween. There is no هذا a bait. This is the a, the tanween. So what this means is, this right here is هذا. A house. This is baytun. The tanween is the A. Okay? Now, it doesn't apply to that when there are actual names like Muhammadun. You don't say, this is a Muhammadun. Okay? But for regular objects and nouns such as those, that's what it is. Now, let's go ahead and get through the rest of the lesson. هذا مسجد. هذا مسجد. Go ahead and repeat after me and get the pronunciation down. Alhamdulillah, you know, I don't want to brag, but I think my pronunciation is good enough. I've been speaking Arabic since a little child. And at the same time, we studied Arabic in Yemen and in Medina. And we had some pretty serious teachers. Alhamdulillah, we were even fortunate enough to study with the late Muhammad Ayyub, rahimahullah. So he'll correct the qari and imam of al-Masjid al-Nabawi, who's passed away, so may Allah have mercy on him. So go ahead and repeat again. هذا باب. Next, هذا كتاب. After that, هذا قلم. هذا مفتاح. This is the pronunciation portion of the lesson, guys. You're supposed to be reading and trying to mimic my pronunciation as well. هذا مكتب. هذا سرير. هذا كرسي. Now, one last thing we need to point out too, and it is Let's take qalamun. When you come to the end of a sentence, what is the correct way to end your sentence? Do you end it with the sound of the tanween, or do you end it with a sukoon? The proper way is to end it with a sukoon. So you would say, هذا قلم. هذا قلم. So why have I been reading هذا بيت and هذا مسجد and هذا كرسي and so on and so forth? So that you can know the actual haraka at the end of the word. When you're speaking, you come to the end of your sentence, end it with a sukoon. هذا قلم, هذا بيت, هذا مسجد, هذا كرسي. End it like that. But you need to know that when you're speaking, it ends with a sukoon, and you actually need to know what is the original haraka on there. We're going to make our classes a little bit short, so that way at the end of the class, you can hopefully walk away and say, okay, I learned something new in it. So you all did a great job today. Barakallahu feekum wa jazakumullah khair. Ila al-liqa, and I'll see you next time, Voyagers of Knowledge. Assalamu alaikum.